Hi again. In this video, we'll continue learning more about writing and using constructors. In the last video, we talked about the fact that you can even use other objects as attributes, like a job object that contains specific data and behaviors related to a job. For example, here is a job class that can make job objects. It has attributes like title, company, salary, and location, and methods like getDetails and updateSalary. If you want one of these objects to be an attribute for a person object, you can include it as an instance variable in the person class and as a parameter in the person constructor. Let's take a look at how this could be implemented. On top, you see part of a simple person class, which is showing two instance variables, name and job. Notice that you declare an object here the same way that you would in your main method, with the data type being job with a capital letter and the reference variable as the lowercase job. Then the constructor has a job parameter that receives an incoming job object and assigns it to the class's instance variable. On the bottom, you see part of a simple job class, which is also showing two instance variables, title and company, with those two variables being initialized in the constructor as well. Let's now use these two classes in a program. The top two boxes in blue are the two classes you just saw. Those are what you're about to use. The middle box is the main class named PersonRunner, where you will create your objects. And at the bottom is a visualization of memory locations again. Let's start by creating a new job object. As soon as the job constructor is called, creating a new job object, memory gets allocated, an object is initialized, and the reference is stored in the variable job1. When you create a person object, the same process occurs, allocating memory for the person object and storing its reference in the variable person1. One thing you'll notice here, while the person1 object now has a job object as part of its attributes, no new job object was created in the process. It actually is still referencing the original job1 object you created. In passing in job1 as an argument, you are really just sending in the object reference. So now both the job1 variable and the person's job1 instance variable have the same 0x008 reference. For example, the person method getJobTitle uses the job object's getTitle method, which is still actually located in the original job object at the location 0x008. The problem is you likely don't want any person objects to be able to change that original job object. For example, you could have a person object for each teacher at a school. If all the person objects point to the same job object, this could cause a problem. If any one teacher, let's say person 4, changes their title to department lead, because every other person object references the same job object, that would change the title attribute for all the person objects instead of just person 4's. To avoid this issue, you can use this best practice. When you use a mutable object, that is, an object whose state can be changed, as a constructor parameter, create a copy of the referenced object. This ensures that no person object can modify the original job object. Let's see how this best practice can be implemented. Here are the two classes again, person and job. You can see where the job object is a parameter in the person constructor. At the moment, the reference to the original job object is passed in and stored in the job instance variable. To make a copy of that object instead, you can use the parameter and its instance methods, getTitle and getCompany, to create a new job object that is stored in the instance variable. In this way, the instance variable is initialized with a copy of the referenced object, preventing any undesired changes to the original job object. With this change to the person class, when you create person1, you'll notice that a new copy of the job object is also created at position 0x007. So when you call person1's getJobTitle method, it references its own copy of the job object at 0x007. This is important because let's say the person1 object has another method called setJobTitle, which changes the value of the title attribute of the job object. Calling this method changes the attribute of the job copy, not the original job object, which is still stored at 0x008. If you were to include these print statements, you'd get teacher for the original job object, and now department lead for the copied job object. By creating a new job object with each person object, you've now given each person a unique instance of a job object, which can be modified sometime in the future without affecting the original or any of the other copies. Now it's your turn to write and use constructors in your own programs.